So, riding gear for all weather conditions. In this live stream I will discuss leather, textile options, gear with different layers and Gore-tex. I will also talk about rain gear and will give you some tips on how to ride on extremely cold and extremely hot days. Alright, I can see one person. Wolfgang, hello. How are you, my man? How are you? Are you prepared for Bulgaria? The time is coming. How is the video audio? Please let me know. Perfect, okay. Very good. I can see that two more people came. Alex, hello Alex. How are you doing, man? Where are you from, Alex? And Richard. Nice to see you again, Richard. Video, audio, good. Alex, where are you from? Mexico. Oh, so far away. Nice to see someone from so far away. So guys, we have this long discussion today, and as usual, I prepared everything that I want to talk, but after I finish, I will give you more than enough time to add something to the stream or to have your questions. For the new people like Alex and Wolfgang, Wolfgang is for second time here, but if you have any questions or if you want to add some information, please bear with me until I finish, and then you can ask questions or add the information that you can add. I will wait just 1 or 2 minutes more. Eventually more people will come, and then we're gonna start discussing the gear, riding gear for all weather conditions. This is interesting topic, and I would like to talk about it. I have plenty of videos on this topic, but here in the streams it's a little bit different because I have more time to discuss with more details, and also I have you as members in this group to add valuable information. That's why the streams are always much better and provide much more information than simple videos. Anyway, we have Wolfgang, Richard, Alex, and another one person just came, fourth person. Who is the fourth person? Please introduce yourself here in the chat. Because for me it's like a one-way connection. I'm talking with you guys, but I rely on the chat to see who is there, to read your comments and questions. That's why for me it's a little bit different. So, riding gear for all weather conditions. In this live stream I will discuss leather, textile options, gear with different layers and Gore-tex. I will also talk about rain gear and will give you some tips on how to ride on extremely cold and extremely hot days. So guys, riding gear is something very personal. If you ask 10 people, you're gonna have 10 different opinions, and everyone will swear that his opinion is the best opinion or his gear is the best gear, and so on and so on. But in my opinion, there is no such a thing like the perfect riding gear. You will always miss something, or you will always need something else. Every gear you buy, every gear you can afford to buy will be some kind of compromise. It cannot work in all conditions. That's why I said it will be some kind of compromise. Maybe it will work perfect in the cold days, but then will be a problem in the hot days, or the other way around. If it's very good ventilated with open zips and stuff like that, or mesh from everywhere, perfect for the hot days, but what about when it's getting cold? So every gear, it's a compromise, because as I told you, everyone got a different opinion. I will also share my experience and my opinion, but I have to warn you out that it might not work for you. Depends on what kind of trips you plan, where you're from, or anything else. So I will share my experience, guys, and my opinion, but everything that I will say now might not work for you. You just need to be informed that my experience is just my experience. Let's start with a leather gear. Leather gear is something that everyone used to wear many years ago, but nowadays you can see leather gear mostly on the super sport bikes or sport bikes. On adventure trips or adventure travelers or adventure type of motorcycles, I can see here and there some people still use leather, but it is very, very rare. And the reasons are many. It is just too expensive. These suits are too expensive. They are too heavy. They are not waterproof. And this, of course, makes them not so comfortable to use them all the time. When I said too expensive, a nice jacket, leather jacket, quality jacket with pants will go over 2,000 euros. It is also true that if you have a Gore-tex suit from nice brand, it will be about the same money. But then it's the second con. The leather is just too heavy. Too heavy, and it's usually not waterproof. And when it starts raining, it became even more heavier, and this is a problem. And one of the pros of the leather is that it lasts longer and it could survive many different accidents, for example. It will resist on many, even if you slide on the road, or it will protect you better than textile. I'll agree with this, but with all of the cons that I just listed, price, heavy, not waterproof, and not very comfortable until you break it, they don't exist anymore. At least I haven't seen any people that travel long distances with leather. Here and there, around their homes, people still use these leather jackets to ride, and especially with the choppers, they still use leather gear. But adventure travelers or adventure motorcycles or long distance travelers, no. The next option is going to be textiles. There are many different brands and models and colors and anything that you can find today. They are cheap to buy compared to leather, maybe 1/3 of the price, maybe even 1/5 of the price, depends of the brand. But when we're talking about riding gear, guys, let's start with this, that even the most terrible or the cheaper Chinese option that you can buy will protect you more than the most expensive air, if you understand what I mean. So any gear will protect more than no gear at all. It will protect you not only from a direct impact, from accident, but it will protect you also from the weather and from wind, rain, all of these things. So any gear will protect you better than no gear. So textiles, they are cheap to buy. They have many options, many different sizes, and that's why it's so accessible. They have many models and colors. They provide a good protection because they have these protectors on elbows, shoulders, spine, hips, knees, everywhere that they're supposed to be. They offer better ventilation than leather, or at least some models got a nice ventilation. So you can have this fully mesh jacket with a lot of wind to go through your body, or just a normal jacket with a lot of vents to open it, zips, and to cool down on the hot days. But of course, as any other gear, they have some minuses. You can damage it if you hit the ground. If you have an accident, they won't last that much. They will actually last just one accident. But this is exactly what they're made for, to protect you from accident. One accident, not to wear it for many years. Also, during the years, they start to bleach. If you have a black, it is going to be gray after 2 or 3 years because of the sun. Some of the suits might cut here and there. So during the years, you'll wear them pretty fast. If you use them a lot, as I use my gear for many hours, many days, they won't last more than a year. But if you buy them cheap, 1 year, it's a fair time. What brands and model from the cheap options to buy, I cannot really say, because what we have in Bulgaria is not what you're gonna have in your country. For example, in the USA, you're gonna have many different brands and models that we don't have here. If you're from Germany or from somewhere around Europe, you're gonna have these big shops like Polo, or what was the second? Louis in Germany, Louis and Polo, and they offer many different brands and model, many different cheap and expensive options. But here in Bulgaria, it's a little bit different. That's why I cannot recommend any brand and model from the cheap level. Let's now see another option. These are the first textile, and the textile we can split to 2 different options. The first is that you can buy a jacket and pants that has warm linings and have some kind of integrated water membrane in the jacket. And these water membranes are usually not really good. They protect from a light rain, but they cannot last for many hours or for heavy rain. They are just for small drops. They will protect you definitely, but not for that long. And also the membrane is between the layers of the jacket. So there is the jacket, and there is the water membrane, and on the top you have some kind of I don't know what is the word of this, the inner shelf of the jacket. And it is the same with the pants. And the cheaper options, you have the pants, you have the textile of the pants, and then you have on the top this membrane. And on the top of this membrane you have nothing. If the pants are a little bit more expensive, you will have another one like a mesh on the top that will protect you from touching directly the membrane. But when you don't have this mesh on the top, the cheaper option, they don't have it, you're actually touching directly the membrane. And it's very uncomfortable, because when you ride, especially in the summer, in the hot days, and you have these pants with a membrane, that the membrane actually stuck to your legs, and every time when you move, it limits your movement. And it happened with me a few times when I tried to jump on the bike and I opened my legs and I just cracked the membrane here because it's stuck to my legs. It's very, very uncomfortable. If you have a little bit more expensive gear, not the cheaper, the most cheap that you can find, but a little bit maybe middle range, then it will have another one mesh on the top, and this mesh will protect your body from direct impact to the this membrane, if you understand what I mean. Difficult for me to explain you, but any level that you can afford a little bit more from the expensive part, it will be a little bit more convenient and comfortable to wear. So let's now see, these are the first groups that are with integrated waterproof membrane, and you cannot remove it. It is there. They have usually the warm lining on the top, zip with buttons, you can remove it, but the membrane is always in the jacket. You cannot remove it. And the second option is a jacket made from textile with different layers. So you have two different layers. One is the waterproof layer that you can zip on your jacket, and the second is the warm layer that you can have it as well. You can have both of them on the jacket or on the pants, or you can remove them both, or use just the warm layer or just the rain gear, the rain layer, whatever you need at the moment. And these jackets are named like with different layers. So you can have the layer that you need at the moment. They are good for all weather conditions, because if you know that today is going to be a very cold day, then you can have your rain gear, you can have your warm layer on the top, not rain gear, rain layer, then you can have your warm layer on the top, and it will protect you very well. First, because the rain layer not only protects from rain, but it also protects from the cold wind. So when you have two, you'll be like sandwich, three different layers. First will be the jacket, then will be the water membrane, water layer, and then will be the warm layer after that. And this protects very good in cold days, for example. And you can adjust your body temperature because of these things. If you decided that, okay, it might rain maybe, but it's not going to be hot, you can remove the warm layer and leave only the rain layer inside, and will have this, the comfort that you needed. You'll be protected from the rain, and these membranes or layers, or water membranes or layers, they actually protect very well, because they are from some kind of synthetic materials. They are stretching very well, and they are also breathable on some degree, not completely breathable, but they have some kind of breathability, so they don't dump yourself, not like rain gear that you can have on the top. So these different layers provide the comfort that you might need. As I said, good for all weathers, and you can adjust. And they're much cheaper than Gore-tex. For example, the jackets that I have, this Revit Off-Track 2, Sand 4, and the last one, what was, I already forgot how many I've got. But all of these models are with these layers, and you can adjust, as I said, regarding to the temperature that you're riding at the moment. And all of these options are maybe twice as cheaper than a Gore-tex jackets. And that's why so many people use it nowadays. They have one really big con or downside. The layers are big and bulky. They are not heavy, but they are big and bulky. And when you decided that you don't need these layers and you need only the jacket, but you're traveling somewhere on the road, you have to store it somewhere. And as I said, they are not heavy, but they are bulky, like this. So they will take a lot of space from your luggage capacity just to keep them somewhere because you don't need them. And this is a big minus, and I don't really like this option. And also, it's not really convenient to change these things all the time when the weather change constantly. For example, if you travel to the mountains, when you go to the higher peaks, it's very cold, and then you dress all the layers, and then you go back to the valley and the temperature rose with 10-15 degrees and you became hot, so you have to remove all of these layers. With the jacket, it's somehow easy, so you can stop on the road, remove the jacket, remove these layers, put it in the luggage. But with the pants, it's not easy at all. You have to remove your boots, remove these layers. It's a pain in the ass. If you do it a few times per day, you'll understand what I mean. It's just pain in the ass. If you keep it on yourself, you'll be too hot. If you remove it all the time, it's a lot of efforts and money. That's why this is the downsides of these different layers. Cheaper to buy, good to adjust the body temperature, but big problem to store the layers, and also not really convenient to do it on the road. And the last option that I would like to discuss is Gore-tex. Of course, Gore-tex is a breathable material, waterproof and breathable material. Of course, nothing is 100% guaranteed or waterproof. There is no such a thing like 100% waterproof gear, because sooner or later it will start leaks. It will be maybe not after 15 minutes, it will take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, but finally it will start leaks because the rain will come from here, under your jacket, and eventually after 4 or 5 hours heavy rain, you will finish completely wet from everywhere. Even if the gear hold itself cannot have any drops inside, it will be already so soaked with water. It will not penetrate the gear, but it will be so soaked from outside that you're gonna start to feel the cold already. And that's why I said nothing lasts forever. 4 or 5 hours and you are done. But usually not many people ride for so many hours on the rain. They protect very well if you go accidentally into the short rains and you just go through the rain and you get out of the rain. After 15 minutes the gear is dry and you continue riding. You don't need any layers, you don't need to change any dresses. Gore-tex is a wonderful material. I love them, and of course the biggest minus is that they're very expensive, very expensive. A nice quality brand and model will cost over 1,500 euros, maybe more, depends on the model. The gear that I have from Revit, Dominator GTX, costs more than 2,000 euros. It's expensive, nothing more to say. The last model that they sent me, this echelon gear, is fantastic because it is 2 layers of Gore-tex. The Dominator is with 3 layers. Echelon is with 2 layers, much lighter, much comfortable, and the price, by the way, is twice as cheaper than Dominator. Anyway, they are expensive and they might be too hot in the hot days. I used Gore-tex. Which Revit jacket has best ventilation? All Revit jackets got a good ventilation, all of them. If you're looking for summer jacket with best ventilation, Wolfgang, I will say go to Off-Track. Off-Track got this collar here with open collar, the first model Off-Track 1. Off-Track 2 also got good ventilation. It's a good option for hot days, yeah. But we'll come a little bit more to the hot days again. So Gore-tex, expensive, might be hot in the summer. I use my Gore-tex suite up to 35, 38 degrees. And it was alright. I cannot say that with a ventilated jacket or with mesh jacket I will be in much better conditions. You use it more when you walk around. On the bike is fine because ventilation is good and you feel it well. But when you need to walk around with Gore-tex, then you don't have this kind of ventilation and you start to feel it a little bit more. Might be hot. It might be heavy. As I said, Dominator GTX is a heavy gear. Even without anything in my pockets, I don't know, it's probably around 2-3 kilograms or more. I don't know, maybe 5 kilograms. It's a heavy jacket. But they have one really big plus, big con that you have to remember, that any Gore-Tex gear that you can buy, or at least 99% of the Gore-Tex gear, will offer a lifetime warranty for the Gore-Tex material. And the example that I can give you now is that when I bought my first Gore-Tex gear was Revit Poseidon GTX jacket and pants. They were expensive. They were not sent from Revit. I paid for this gear for around 1,500 euros. Was very expensive, but good gear. I enjoyed it very much. And after 3 years, it started leaks a little bit here in the zip line. Not that bad, but after 4 or 5 hours of heavy rain, I became completely wet here. And then I contacted the shop that I bought it and explained what it is, because I read on the label that Gore-Tex is waterproof with lifetime guarantee and stuff like that. And guess what? They changed it. And because they don't have the same model, they don't produce it anymore, Poseidon GTX, they gave me the new model, Poseidon GTX 2, as an exchange of the problems that I've got. So when you buy a Gore-Tex, maybe you'll pay a little bit more money in advance, but you will ensure that you're gonna have a nice quality gear for many years. And if you don't use it extensively, as I use it all the time, and if you ride maybe 2-3 weeks in the summer, or maybe sometimes in the weekends, it will last basically forever, maybe at least 10 years. Wolfgang, what about your experience with cleaning Gore-Tex jacket machine washable? Well, I don't clean them much. You can wash them in the machine without the fast spinning at the end, and you have to buy a specific washing materials. You don't put the normal washing powder, you have to buy some liquid materials that they sell in their websites. But what I do usually, I just go into the shower with the jacket and use a liquid soap and a small, very gentle brush to clean it on the top like this. I'll just leave the water to go on me, soap it everywhere and clean it. And this is what I do with my Gore-Tex jacket and pants. Liquid soap. Forget about anything else. Only liquid soaps. That's it. And on 30 degrees maximum. This is how I treat it. But I don't do it very often, because usually the rain do it for me, and I don't mind how I look, because it's the main purpose of the gear is to protect me, not to make me a fashion model. I hope this answers the question, Wolfgang. All right, we discussed leather, textiles, different types of textiles, pluses, minuses, Gore-Tex, and let's now say a few words about rain gear. So rain gear, it's basically a good option to have, especially if you don't have a good riding gear. So rain gear will definitely help you in this situation, or if your riding gear is not waterproof at all. And many people will say that it is better to have a nice ventilated jacket, textile jacket, and rain gear. And they might be right. In many situations this will be a better option, because if you see the rain, you'll stop, you'll put your rain gear, and you'll be alright. You can survive many hours with a rain gear on the top. I can confirm that. If your normal Gore-Tex gear lasts 3, 4 to 5 hours, if you have your rain gear on the top, you will be alright even 8 to 9 hours on the rain. Of course, you will finish completely wet because of the same reasons. The water will come from here, under your jacket and pants, unless you have a full suit. If you have a full suit, then you'll be even more protected. Maybe a little bit here and a little bit from here, but nothing on your belly. But a full suit rain gear is very uncomfortable to wear, especially on the road. And yeah, the rain gear is the same story as a layers. When you see the rain, or when you know that it's gonna rain, you have to stop and put it in. And also when you don't need it, you have to twist it, fold it, and keep it somewhere. And again, it's not that big, but anything at the end, it's a place in your luggage, and need to be stored. I always, when I had rain gear, I always was buying two pieces, not one big suite, because if I have pants and jacket on different, not like one suite, it's easy for me to control the temperature when I need it. For example, when I know that it's going to be cold, for example, I can have only the jacket on the top as an extra layer or extra wind protection. Or if I know that I'm gonna ride in very muddy conditions, I can have only the pants to protect my riding gear. So always prefer to have two different pieces instead of one big suite, but some people will swear that one big suite is better because it protects better. It definitely protects better, but it has some cons. So my advice to you guys is that buy the best option that you can afford. Make sure that it has all protection that it's supposed to have, which is mean that elbow, shoulder, spine, hips, knees, and always keep all of your protection on the right places. And if they have any kind of straps here, tighten it properly, because usually the jacket's got straps here, 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 and behind your cups. So adjust it properly, because the protectors won't work if they are not on the right place. I have seen people with very big jackets and they go loose like that. So if the protector is not staying here, tighten it with the straps. When you hit the ground, it might be on a different place. That's why if you have these straps, tighten it properly so the protectors will stay on the right places. Rain gear, I discussed about the rain gear. Let's see anything else. Okay, so now I promised to you to give you some tips about riding in extremely cold and extremely hot days. Let's start with the cold. Well, dress on layers helps a lot. So as I said in the beginning, if you need to ride in the cold days, dress on different layers will help you to control the temperature. What I mean, you can have underneath your thermal underwear, for example, start with thermal underwear, merino wool, or whatever you like, whatever thermal underwear you use, just start with it. And then on the top you can have some kind of sweatshirt. On the top you can have your warm linings, rain gear, or anything that you can have. I, for example, when I did a few times very, very cold rides on -12 even, I was having my warm layer. I have one just a t-shirt with long sleeve, again with merino wool. Then I have one sweatshirt on the top. Then I have the jacket itself, and then on the top of the jacket I've got a real rain gear, jacket and pants. So I've got like 4 different layers, and this protects me and helps me to ride on -12 for more than an hour. The only problem that I've got in this weather was not my body. My body was fine, with another trick that I'm gonna share after a few seconds. But the boots, whatever you do, or with the boots you cannot do much, because the boots there, maybe you can have a better socks, or maybe you can have 2 socks, one on the top of another, if your boots are loose enough, but that's it. And because you don't move with them, you start to feel the cold from the boots first. Alex, have you seen the Dirt Series collection jackets from Revit? What do you think? I have one jersey from the Dirt Series. I don't have another, and I haven't seen it because it's not in my type of trips. So I'm sure that they are fine, but I cannot say much, Alex. Sorry about it. I have just one jersey that I use here and there. Fantastic quality, breathable, with pocket here, really good design. And I'm guessing that anything that Revit do, they will be fine. Yes, Wolfgang, I just was about to say all of this. Thank you for adding. So the first barrier for cold days is your layers. You put the maximum layers that you can have. Then you have heated grips. Without heated grips, you cannot make it. Whatever gear you have without heated grips, you cannot make it unless you have heated gloves, which is also optional. So heated grips, heated gloves, heated jackets, seat, boots, whatever. I'm sure that nowadays you can find anything heated on the market. There will be many options to heat it with the power from your motorcycle, or most of them coming with internal batteries that last for many hours. So many options today. When I did it, I did not have any of this. I have only my heated grips. And I did a simple trick that works for me and might work for many people. I used my hydration pack instead of drinking water from it, because you cannot have hydration pack when the temperatures are mild minus, because it will freeze on your back. But I used it to fill it with hot water and keep it here in my inside of my jacket. So this hot water was make me warm here under the jacket and circulates like that, and with the help with heated grips it was alright. As I said, I was perfectly fine to ride like 1 hour on minus 12. The only problem were the feet. After 1 hour I started to feel the cold in my feet, but the body was perfectly fine with this free option or budget option to warm yourself. Of course, it will be always better with heated grips, jackets, gloves, or whatever you can afford. So the tips that you can use to minimize the damage or to make it a little bit more easy for you is to have a short time between the stops. So you don't need to ride 2 or 3 hours. Make it 30 minutes or 1 minute, 1 hour maximum, and then stop to warm yourself, to drink maybe coffee, tea, to stay on the hot place, and then you can continue again. Make just the distances between the stops shorter. And what I did, I did this short, like 1 hour ride, 15 minutes stop, 1 hour ride, 15 minutes stop, and every time when I was stopping, I was changing the water in this hydration pack here, because with the time it gets a little bit colder. Then I put hot water again and hot water again and again, and this is how I survived to ride for like more than 10 days from Germany to Varna. Let's now discuss what you can do when the temperature became too hot, when you have extreme heat. Then many people will think that the best option will be to have this mesh jacket, or even to remove the jacket, to go and ride like that on like I am at the moment, on t-shirts without any gear. This is the worst that you can do. On extreme heat, if you ride like that, first you will burn very badly. You will burn from the sun, as I burned today and the last few days. You will burn so badly just for a few hours, and because the air will dry your skin, it will be even worse. So you cannot ride like that. You will finish in the hospital. Just remember it. You cannot ride like that. So the option is to have something on the top. Alex, Pavlin, do you plan to make detailed videos on how to change the clutch or disassemble a tire? I've been a rider for a long time, but mechanic has been weak points and getting for it. So, Alex, I don't have these plans on my motorcycle at the moment, because my motorcycle does not need all of this. But I have in the channel many videos about the clutch and tires and stuff like that. Just go use the search bar on the top and try to find it. I even have many videos of maintenance that I did before the trip with my mechanic. So I have many videos like that. I don't plan videos like this in the future, because my motorcycle does not need anything like this at the moment. I'm gonna change the clutch when it's finished, but so far on 70,000 kilometers it's fine. I don't need to change it. But basically, to change the clutch, it's very simple procedure, and you can do it by yourself. You just need to educate a little bit yourself. You can find a lot of informational, interesting videos on YouTube that explain with great details how to do it. Even on my channel you can find it. Alright, so let's go back to the heat. You cannot ride like that, so you need some kind of protection on the top. And again, many will think that, oh, okay, I will need a mesh jacket open or with a good ventilation, otherwise I cannot survive the heat. Yeah, mesh jackets and good ventilated jackets works perfectly fine until 35-38 degrees. Then you'll be alright. You'll feel the air when you move, and you'll be alright. But when the temperature goes over, will be an incredible guide. Yeah, I understand, Alex, but it is. But when the temperature goes over 40 degrees, then nothing helps. Then the open mesh jackets or jackets with a lot of ventilation does not help at all. You feel it even worse. Even when you open your visor, it's like opening the oven at home. You feel the heat from everywhere. So the solution, it's different. The solution that I use is a budget solution. Of course, nowadays they sell a lot of different paid solutions, but the budget solution that I do all the time, I use it every time when I have for this extreme heat. The last time when I was riding on the heat was on my trip around Turkey. When I was in southeast Turkey, Anadolu and further, it was like 40, 42, 43, 45 degrees. So I used it the last time, let's say 2 years ago. I soak my t-shirt. During the hot days, I always use cotton t-shirts. And I soak my cotton t-shirt with water. Very well soaked it with water. And then wear it on my body. And after that, the jacket on the top, I zip the zip up to the top. I closed all ventilation pockets, everything. I closed even the sleeves here and the visor. And in this condition, I can ride in perfectly comfort, like in air conditioning, for at least 20-30 minutes. And after that, of course, all of this get dry because it's so hot, and you have to repeat the procedure. But this helps a lot. Nowadays, you can buy a lot of things like cooling vests that you can have under your jacket, and they work exactly on the same principle. You soak them with water, and they evaporate very slowly in 1 hour or something like that, and they will keep you calm and cold and hydrated for maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more, depends on the brand and the materials that they use. But if you don't want to pay for this expensive stuff, you just soak your water, close the jacket, close all ventilation zips, close the visor, and you'll be all right. I also soak my bonnet with water here inside on the scarf. Everything is dumped or soaked very well with water, and this helps a lot. This is what I do. And again, short stops or short distances between the stops. If you ride usually 2 hours, what I do, change it to 1 hour. You can make it even 30 minutes and just go and drink something cold, stay somewhere in the air conditioning, cool down a little bit. And don't stress your motorcycle. The same applies to the cold days and the hot days. When the motorcycle works in these conditions, it works very hard, and you don't need to stress it even more because you might break it. One important thing for the hot days, if you ride in extreme hot days, make sure that you have enough water. So you should have hydration pack on all of your trips, except the trips that you're gonna make in the minus temperatures. But on all of your trips, you should have a hydration pack as I have all the time on your back. You don't need to rely on bottles in your tank bag or your saddle bag, because the bottle you can drink only when you stop your motorcycle. But to drink water once per hour or whatever time you stop in the hot days, it's not enough. During the extreme hot days like this, plus 45 degrees, I was drinking like more than, I'll say, 10 liters or at least 6-7 liters water per day, and I did not even pee because all of the water that I was drinking was going with the sweating all the time. But when you sweat so much, when you drink so much water and you sweat so much, you lose a lot of your minerals, especially the sodium. And a pinch of salt or small packets of salt in your pocket, in your pockets will help a lot. When I was in Turkey, I finished my salt. I have some salt packages, but I finished it or lost it somewhere. I don't know. So I stopped on. I feel that I was so many hours on the heat, and I don't feel very well. I have a little dizziness, so I know that I need a little bit of sodium. And I stopped on one petrol station, and with my poor Turkish language, just a few words, I said to the lady, "Can I have a little bit of salt?" And she understood what I'm talking about, but she cannot understand why I need salt without eating anything. I said, "Just salt." And she said, "Salt on Turkish salt was tuz." I said, "Tuz, küçük tuz." And she understood that I want salt, but she cannot understand why. Said, "Please give it to me a little bit of salt." She said, "Salt." I said, "Salt, salt" a few times. So finally she gave me a little bit of salt. I just put it on my head, of my arm, and I just ate it. And she was like this, huh? She cannot understand what I mean. But a little bit of salt will help you a lot to keep the sodium in your body. And when you have the feeling that you drank so much water and you need more and it's never enough, that is mean that you need a little bit of salt. A pinch of salt will reduce your water intake, and everything is going to be all right. And the salt will keep the important minerals like magnesium and sodium and all stuff like that. So that's it, everything that I planned today, guys. Now, if you have any questions or if you want to add something, please do it. So, as you know, every information that you can provide here, we can provide, will help to many riders that will watch this stream after that. Richard, some jacket liners are only jacket liners, cannot be worn separately. Take this out and replace with a lightweight puff or similar which have been worn. Yeah, true. Some jackets cannot be worn separately. This is a good advice. Thank you very much, Richard. Make sure that you can replace it with something that works better for you. Because even some of these expensive brands might have a warm layer that it's not so comfortable to use all the time. But as Richard suggests, if you change it or if you exchange it or use something else instead, will be just fine. Yeah, thank you very much to adding this, Richard. Yeah, and also easy to pack. Baklava, keeping your head warm makes a big difference. Keeping warm from you. Yeah, absolutely. I always have it. During the cold days, I have my baklava on the top like this, just like this, wind stopper. And then I have another one layer on the top to stay like that, and it protects a lot. So when you're insulated from all sides, it's a big difference. It's big difference. The scarf is only to here, but when you protect from all sides, whoo, man, it's fantastic. It also protects during the hot days when you make all of this, when you soak it with water. Also, are there boots with good ventilation? Any differences? Well, Wolfgang, I haven't heard about any boots with good ventilation. I haven't seen. Some models might exist, but nothing I can say at the moment. Boots are something that you shouldn't make any compromises, Wolfgang. Even if the boots are hot, even if they do not provide the comfort that you need while you ride, I will still suggest to use the boots because they will protect. The only purpose of the boots is to protect your ankles, your feet, and everyone who broke his leg has more than enough time in the hospital to realize or to understand how important the boots are. Richard, sunscreen on your face when you hot your lips and well, for this, Richard, I cannot say much because I never use sun cream. I don't believe in these sun creams. I believe that they have the negative effects on our bodies, but this is my opinion. For many people, they work, especially for people who are extremely white. Like most of the people from the West, they have really white skin, and without sun cream, they will burn very badly. I don't use it, but it doesn't mean that it's not good. Feet getting stinky in Turkey. They will definitely stink, absolutely, but this is the price that I have to pay, and I'm happy to pay it, Wolfgang, because my feet are important. It's important. But it's alright. When it's extremely hot, I usually don't ride that much. One of the tips that I forgot to mention here, in the hot days, I usually start to ride very early. In Turkey, for example, in these hot days like 42, 45 degrees, I usually start at like 4:30 in the morning until it's still cold. And I was riding in perfect comfort until maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. And after that start to became really hot. And around 2 in the afternoon, I'm stopped riding. And after that, I'm already in the hotel, took a shower, cool down in the air conditioning, and later in the evening around 6 or 7 o'clock, I can go out and walk around when the temperature is a little bit more normal. So, as I said, it was not a problem because I was using this tactic all the time. Start very early in the morning, riding without traffic and when the weather is still manageable, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon already in the hotel, relax, and that's it. Richard, one piece of switch stops you to going to the toilet easy. Difficult to put on, take of the master's pieces better. Absolutely agree on this. Well, on this winter trip that I did with all of these 4 layers that I had, man, to go to the toilet was already an adventure. If you need to go just to make a pee-pee, it's fine. But when you need to make something serious, when you need a serious job with the toilet, man, this was already an adventure. To go to the toilet, to remove all of these clothes, to bend my knees and to do what I have to do. Man, this was already difficult. I get out of the toilet already tired. And the next problem was to jump on the motorcycle because of all of these clothes. I get tired just to sit on the motorcycle, but it is what it is. You cannot do anything in this situation. Alright guys, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Every cent matters, and I appreciate everything that you do. You might be just a channel member with $1, $2, $5, it doesn't matter. Patron. Thank you very much guys. I highly appreciate that. This gives me the freedom to do what I like to do and still travel and make these videos for you guys. And these live streams are the minimum that I can do for you to pay my dues. Thank you very much guys, and see you next week. Ciao.